Hi everybody, Joja from Sharp 11 Music here. I'm back again with a third episode of Inside Solo, and today we will be looking at an amazing solo by Gerald Albright live with Phil Collins on a tune called I Missed Again. This is a rather short solo, it's so engaging, it's so cool, it's rhythmically very interesting, it's bluesy, but there is some jazz in there, there are some crazy great altissimos in there as well, not only altissimos, but just the way the sound he has up there is incredible, and how it elevates the music. For me personally, this is one of the better pop solos that I've seen anybody play live, and that's quite something. I mean, there are so many cool saxophone solos in pop to be found. You had a few of those great artists like Sting and like Paul Simon that had a featured saxophonist, also a great saxophonist of choice, like one of the heroes in saxophone world. You had Michael Brecker, of course, with Paul Simon. You had Branford Marsalis with Sting, and Phil Collins did this same thing with Gerald Albright. Most of you probably also know that iconic solo with the Phil Collins big band on Against All Odds, which is another story and is incredible. But let's learn a lot from this shorter version solo. It's amazing. Okay, so that's just so cool how he comes in. He comes in so rhythmically with those false fingerings on the 8. I'll explain in a minute, but that's like the Maceo way of creating a lot of rhythmic tension there. It's totally groovy, and it's so much fun the way he comes in. He starts with an A, and then you have the false fingering he does. You see that I used both the writing of a ghost note in the stuff, and right above that note also like the plus signs, which means a false fingering, and he kind of combines them. Listen to that. So you hear that for the first few, he mutes those notes with a half tongue, but at the same time presses the false fingering A, which is on 1, 2, 3 in the right hand. You play A and then. So it changes the sound and the pitch quite some. By muting the note, actually your pitch will shift less, and also the note will, stand out dynamically a bit less. So that's why it's a combination here. And then it's pure praising what's been done. Dan, dan, da, da, da. And that's the first motif of the solo that he kind of variates on 3 times. Let's listen again. So that's that. Cool. And then we get the first kind of jazzy bebop line. This kind of sounds to me like the E7 bebop scale. We have a Mixolydian scale with a chromatic passing tone between the flat 7 and the root. That's what he's basically doing here, and he has that little turn in between as well there. Beautiful turn. So he does that in the upper octave and in the lower octave as well. And that makes it sound very jazzy right away. Whoa! And then we have one of those kind of Gerald Albright licks, really, that thing with those triplets. You can really kind of recognize his style by these kind of rhythmic licks. So he does that in variations across his repertoire, and here what he does is That's pretty much a inversion in a few times of a F sharp sus 7 what he plays there, but then starting on the 7, the flat 7 of that F sharp 7 sus 4 and coming back down. And then connecting that into the next line. Listen if you can spot that F sharp 7 sus 4, which is a very, very open sound with that rhythmic thing. And then we have a lot of phrasing again. And now we lead into the climatic part of the solo. Listen to that. Wait. I'll cover everything of that, but it's hard to press pause in this part of the solo. Let's go back to that Altissimo part. In terms of notes, this is really with an F sharp minor, but besides, you know, I get out the notes, but not nearly as beautiful as Gerald does. What strikes me as quite a risk, by the way, every saxophone player knows that Altissimos, even if you're fairly comfortable with them, like for example, I'm pretty comfortable with them. I'm pretty sure I'll get like right away a C sharp there. You know, you still have to do that for him in front of 20,000 people in a big stadium, and you know that any just sliver of not the right cavity or the right lip pressure and everything surround your airstream, it has a chance of, you know, failing. And when it fails on a saxophone, it sounds really bad. That's the second thing. Like guitarists, I sometimes see, you know, those rock guitarists try to do the overtones on those strings, but you know, if it fails, it just fails and you have the original note, it seems. But with a saxophone, you either sound like a dead duck or something, or you flip through into another screeching overtone, which sounds ugly as hell. It's one thing to go to that C sharp, but he has those nice little, very controlled bendings to nudge every note there. You know, that is some amazing control and for me, some amazing balls to, you know, just do that in this situation. And then he repeats that little phrase and then he goes to that D, which is for me the highlight of the solo, you know, just that little thing. The first melody phrase is just within F sharp minor, pretty much kind of pentatonic, and then going to that D, not only is it higher, but it gets that little friction back to C sharp melodically speaking. Listen to that once again. Yes, and now we come into such a great blues lick, which I encourage you to steal. You know, it's a lot of fun to have that up your sleeve if you are playing pop gigs or blues gigs or that kind of stuff. It works, it just works. What makes it also sound so great, it has a very nice bouncy vibe, I think, is again the phrasing. You know, if you just play it, you know, oh, that was a weird sound. I shot a duck, I think. It's my bad, I should have written that in sheet, but he actually mutes that first A. So you C natural, which is the blue note, really cool, and then you have C, A, B, and that A, that gets a half tongue. So you're which gives way more rhythm to the phrase than when you would keep it just like I just played. It sounded a bit silly, I think. So really practice for these little things and use this line. I mean, this is a great line. This is in triplets, You can also play it in 16ths, and then because it's a group of 6, then it will displace like 1, 2, 3, oh. And then maybe transpose it like to a tone lower in E minor.
3 hours later.
Something like that. Listen to that part again just for the fun of it, coming from these altissimos into that really cool blues lick. Okay, before we go to the end, let's scroll a bit back. So that's again a quite jazzy bebop-y way of putting some lines in there. So you have that D sharp, which I think is really cool. I mean, it goes by really fast, but that D sharp suggests a little bit of Dorian there. I think it's cool. And then you can see that E to D chromatic passing tone again. Pretty much copy paste from what we just saw earlier in the solo, but I think that's great. I mean, it means there's quite some cohesion in there. And for more cohesion and for a perfect end, he takes another fragment of his melody again from that Altissimo part. It's kind of a recap there to end the solo. Pretty much a F sharp minor triad with really at that C sharp. I like that so much. He kind of drops the pitch down to the A, ends on F sharp, and then comes another favorite part of the solo for me. He connects it so beautifully into the next part of the song, just like his end note is actually capturing the modulation happening at that moment in the song very well. Into this G natural, which is a very beautiful way of leading into the next part. It's kind of a diatonic enclosure for that next chord, the next part. Great solo. Everything is really in there. There is a lot of virtuosity. There is a lot of rhythmic stuff to engage with. There is blues in there, some really cool blues, there is energy, there is phrasing, and that's all just in about half a minute. Amazing solo. I can listen to this on endless repeat, and by the way, this has been on kind of a loop in my head for about 3-4 days now. I hope you enjoyed the solo as much as I did. I hope you kind of learned a thing or two from this explanation. Let me know what you think, and what do you like about this solo? What do you like about Gerald? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I was Jorge Reyners from Sharp 11 Music, and see you next time.